Hello everyone, welcome to the Internet of Things Module 4 IoT with the data and analytics for IoT. So in this fourth module, we have seen the different challenges with respect to the security is concerned, common challenges in OT security, operation technology, security, and we listed out so many challenges in our last session. And we have seen how IT and OT security are coming to the systematic practices, how it varies, and to give a better solution for this OT security. So we have a better model. So in today's session, we'll see the Purdue model for control hierarchy. So this Purdue model is one of the widely used framework across industrial environments globally and is used in manufacturing, oil and gas, and many other industries. So this is concerned with so we have discussed some of the real-time examples of security provision of security with respect to oil rig and different automobile manufacturing industries and other automotive uh, industries as well. So we listed out different challenges that already the existing system was facing. So to come out of those challenges and to give a proper solution for a security concerns, so we may go with this Purdue model. So this is one of the widely used framework in almost all the industrial environments, which is maintaining highest level of standards. And this particular model segments devices and equipments by hierarchical function levels and areas, and has been incorporated into the ISA 99 IEC 62443 security standard. So this is a standard set by ISI. So now, so this particular Purdue model is nothing but is dividing the entire structure hierarchy into hierarchical structure. Over here, this is divided into segments. So where each segment will provide its own standard of security. So we will see in detail about that one, each segments, each layers, each levels and all. And this model identifies levels of operations and defines each level. So the enterprise and operational domains are separated into two different zones and kept in strict isolation via an industrial demilitarized zone, DMZ. So now this particular model, so based on the operations, based on the functionality it will provide, we are going to divide into separate levels. So the levels in the sense the enterprise and operation levels are clearly bifurcated so that whatever the enterprise level security is needed, so that is clearly not depending on the other levels. And even coming to the operational domain as well. So with respect to operational domain, we have different segment and function levels to address the security concern of these operations. So we'll see in detail. So this is the diagram for a Purdue model. Here you can see, so we'll discuss from bottom to top. The safety over here, so that is in the bottom layer, in the bottommost we have a safety functionality. So that is safety critical hardwares and safety critical devices are available on this. So in this particular layer, the functionality or the segment level is the most of the safety critical systems are available over here. Moving to the second, we will see in detail about each layers. So in this second layer, so the second layer or second level is also called as process control or SCADA zone. So in this particular process control is again divided into three sub-levels: process level, that is level 0, basic control level 1, supervisory control, that is level 2. So these three are sub-levels or divisions under this process control. So process will look after each individual functionality of the machineries. If you consider, we'll see in detail of all of this. And basic control, for example, user credentials, supervisory control, supervisory privileges. Then we have operation support. So operations support is also called as operations and control level, that is level 3. Then we have a DMZ, demilitarized zone, that is shared access. So this is the one of the important part to bifurcate with the enterprise zone and operations zone. So over this demilitarized zone, both the levels, operations level and enterprise level, will have common access for some of the features. Through that common features, the data communication may takes place. So over this demilitarized zone, without authorization, one cannot transfer, one cannot send the data or receive the data over here. So that is one of the major improvement coming to the previous or older security versions. And coming to the enterprise zone, we have enterprise network in level 5 and business planning and logistics network in the level 4. So in general, enterprise zone is concerned with one of the topmost level of this Purdue model. So with this enterprise zone, we supposed to consider enterprise level or network level, and even with respect to planning and transport level, logistics level, network hierarchy. So we'll see in detail all this. So it's the diagram for Purdue model. Moving further, we'll see one by one. Enterprise zone. So this enterprise zone, as we saw in the diagram, in this particular diagram, it addresses two levels, divided into two levels, enterprise network and business planning and logistics network. So as we know, when in general, if we say IPS, intrusion prevention systems, so these are all used in this IoT network. So coming to the borders, over here, DMZ, demilitarized zone, is concerned with, this will align the different strategies to work with this end-to-end connectivity, to work with this end-to-end enterprise zone and operation support. So we'll see in detail all those. Okay, so this model identifies levels of operations and defines each level. Okay, so enterprise zone, that is level 5 and level 4. Level 5 is also called as an enterprise network. So in this case, corporate level applications such as enterprise resource planning, ERP, customer relationship management, CRM, document management, and services such as internet access and VPN entry from the outside world exist at this level. So over here, enterprise network is concerned with as the top level or level 5. More concentration is given on ERP, enterprise resource planning. So whatever the resources available coming to an organization, so how those resources are planned well to address different tasks in that organization. When we say resource planning, enterprise level resource planning, it is nothing but, say for example, whatever the assets, machineries, different levels of machineries, so that work has to be done by each machinery. So who and all are operating that particular machinery, who and all are works as a supervisor, who and all are works as a normal worker. So how these resources are planned. So when we say ERP is nothing not only for with respect to employees, maybe belongs to the employee, belongs to the machinery, belong to the property that is to be used, belong to the vehicles, all those coming to the picture, that is within the corporate, within the particular organization level, ERP. So entire thing is automated. So here enterprise network is concerned with how we can secure this ERP, either employee management, resource management, vehicular management, movement within the organization, within the structure, within the company manufacturing unit. So these things are addressed over enterprise network. And then CRM, customer relationship management. This is again an automated tool, CRM. So many CRMs are available in the market even. So using this CRM, the one or the management of a particular organization can manage with the customers or stakeholders who will buy the product from the industry, who will utilize the product of the industry, or even the one who will market. All those coming to this particular part, customer relationship management. So what are the queries handled If there is any service required, particular service has been required by the customer, or whether is there any upgrade to the machinery. So all those coming to that, right? Periodic maintenance of machinery, periodic maintenance, periodic update with the customer, all this comes under this customer relationship management, CRM. Coming to document management. So this document management is concerned with what are the security level, policy level, rules and regulation level upgradation has been made by the organization. So that is to be managed over here with respect to document. And other services such as internet access and VPN entry. So if there is more number of machines, more number of IoT devices has been incorporated in our factory, so then all those IoT devices as a smart objects should get an internet access. So provision of that and upgradation with the VPN entry. So all these are comes under enterprise network. So now with these different criteria in enterprise network like ERP, CRM, employee management, document management, internet access, hardware access, all this, how we can address the security issue under this. Those part comes under enterprise network as an IoT network. So now level 4, business planning and logistics network. So in this case, business planning, the IT services exist at this level and may include scheduling systems, material flow applications, optimization and planning systems, and local IT services such as phone, email, printing, and security monitoring. So this level 4 as a backbone for level 5. So whatever the task has been undergone under level 4 under this business planning and logistics network, so that is via using the help of these many functionalities or services, these ERP, CRM, document management, and internet access, all those are kept alive, because whatever the services provided under this level 4, that itself is a backbone for ERP, CRM, all those. So under this level 4, when we say business planning, scheduling of the systems, periodic servicing of the machineries, periodic scheduling of service call, backtracking with the service technician, keeping track of individual component of that machinery. So if any wear and tear, then supposed to be replaced. So what is the life of that? All those coming to that. Then material flow applications. So what are the raw materials are required for our organization? So that is to be borrowed from the outside. So that related with that particular raw materials. So how that inflow and how those raw materials are utilized in this, again a resource. Then optimization and planning systems. If there is a huge need in the market for our product, then our manufacturing unit must be optimized in such a way that it should address the based on the customer request from the market. So if there is any huge demand, say for example, today we may manufacture 100 units of a particular product. So tomorrow there is a need of 150 product. We supposed to upgrade. We supposed to optimize our entire machinery and working culture. So that is comes under this. So to support with these many factors, we need with the local IT services as well. So local IT service in the sense phone, intercom, email, printing job, and other security monitoring tools. So these are all the backbone structure for level 5 enterprise network. Then only we can say the top level manufacturing level can produce a valid, perfect product. Coming to the industrial demilitarized zone. So this particular level, if you follow my cursor, DMZ, the dark color highlighted in black and written in the this particular middle one. So that is DMZ or demilitarized zone. So it will provide us a buffer zone where services and data can be shared between operational and enterprise zone. It is something like a filtering. It also allows for easy segmentation of organizational control. By default, no traffic should traverse the DMZ, demilitarized zone. Everything should originate from or terminate on this area. So now this is something like restricted area. Only authorized personnel can entry into this, saying that only few amount of data can be moved to the level 4 and further to level 5. On the other hand, we may need to apply some transformation level under this. So whatever the data comes under comes from below layers, level 3, level 2, level 1, level 0. So all those no need to transfer to the level 4 and level 5. So we may restrict it. On the other hand, we may convert those data into some other format and we may send it. So demilitarized zone provides a buffer zone and provide services with only few with only few data and with providing highest limitations of usage. So nobody can easily access all the ground level data, you can say on the other hand. So that is DMZ. It's a completely restricted area. Only specific functionality can access some data or only from specific authorities can receive the data. Moving further, operational zone, the lower level operation zone. So this part, okay, we'll see. Coming to the operation zone. So we have operations and control as level 3. So this level 3, it includes functionalities involved in managing the workflow to produce the desired end products and for monitoring and controlling the entire operational system. So it involves the operationals and control involves workflow, different workflows. We'll see that what is workflow and all. This could include production scheduling, reliability assurance, system-wide control optimization, security management, network management, and other required IT services as DHCP, DNS, and timing. So when we say operations and control in general, so this operations and control will monitor the workflow. This is something like, say, when we develop an individual project, so we know how to represent an individual project in terms of different operations and activity. So we have data flow diagram, DFD. So that DFD has been set up over here. Then we have activity diagram, how the individual activity functionality is provides service for further layer. Or we have class diagram, use case diagram as well. So these are all comes under this operations and control level 3. So the basic idea behind this particular level is just to understand with the individual module wise data flow and control flow, communication flow, or from different phases, how the data is transferred from phases to phases, levels to level, hierarchical level. So when we say workflow or data transfer, this may involve production scheduling as well. So we took an example of producing a product of 100 units per day. So that is scheduled. So that 100 can be divided into 25, 25, 25 into 4. So that is morning session, early morning session, then before noon session, afternoon session, and evening session. So as a 4 batches. So that is how production scheduling works. Then reliability assurance. So when performing this production, how reliable is our resources, right? So that assurance by proper maintenance, proper servicing of those machineries, proper break given to the employees, right? So these are all comes under that. And then system-wide control optimization, overall looking after the entire production unit itself, the speeding of from the raw materials till the collection, till the product generation. So entire system-wide. Then security for each levels, each layers during the production can be addressed. Network management. So if we enabled IoT in each and every level, so each and every level can be managed with the network, so data flow. So to have these things, we may need with the IT services such as DHCP, DNS, and timing. So these are all comes under operations and control. Then we have level 2, that is supervisory control or SCADA. So this level includes zone control rooms, controller status, and control system network application administration, and other control related applications such as HMI, human machine interface, and historian. So coming to the supervisory control, it will have dedicated control room or controller application or controller status to monitor all the control visionaries, control system networks, or different application administrations. For example, if you're concerned with, for example, if there are, consider a situation. So we are building a automated home, or we're building a home. So around 10 workers, we are involving in different constructional activity. So we may be ready with one person as supervisor to control those 10. So what that supervisor will do, supervisor will address for every task. Supervisor may assign 2 people for one task, 2 people for another task, 2 people for another task, and so on, the division. So once that allotted work is over, then the supervisor should allow new task should be given to the normal employees. This is same thing, same analogy we can apply over here, supervisory control. So in this supervisory control, for example, if you consider a manufacturing unit of automated spares, for example, a door manufacturing industry for all the cars. So then from the collecting the raw materials, supervisor may allocate 2 people to collect raw materials. After its proper cutting and dyeing, then it is given with the next layer for its bending or some other alloying or painting job. So the once each job is completed, then new task has been allocated. And along with this, if we automated with these supervisory levels, then there is a need of HMI, human machine interface, only to control with that particular machine. So instead of supervisor, if we have a robot, so everything will be monitored by that particular robot. Then on a periodical maintenance, there is a need of robot service as well, that is human machine interface. Coming to the level 1, that is basic control. With respect to the basic level or basic control, we have different controllers and IEDs, dedicated HMIs, human machine interfaces, and other applications may talk to each other to run a part or all the control functions. In this case, basic control, we have hardwares. Coming to the smart object or IoT is concerned with different actuators, controllers, which will control those data or decided by the processor. So this basic control mechanism should have a proper security level hierarchy in such a way that, so this each controller has to do its own dedicated job, right? So that is comes under this. Coming to level 0 or process, this is where devices such as sensors and actuators and machines such as drives, motors, and robots communicate with controllers and IEDs. So coming to this basic level 1 and level 0, process nothing but individual endpoints. Control is nothing but it may be a middle layer or abstraction layer where it will capture all the data which is collected from the sensor and so on. So that is level 0 process. Coming to the safety zone, the last part over here, the safety and critical, the last layer is concerned with. So this level includes devices, sensors, and other equipment used to manage the safety functionality of the control system. So entire control system is mapped with this. The major advantage is in designing industry level, like this structured levels, is it allows security to be correctly applied at each level and between levels. So once we divide entire operations into different phases, so it is easier to monitor with the security. So it is easier to apply different algorithms for each of the levels or between the levels during transmission. For example, if you consider IT networks from level 4 and level 5, level 4 and level 5. So in this case, level 4, and if you consider, please follow the diagram. So coming to the level 4 and level 5. So over here, it is common everywhere. with respect to IT and OT industries. So whatever the security may be available under this, that is common to everywhere as a front end is concerned with, or top level, topmost. So it will protect the lower industrial levels. This level 4, on the other hand, we can say level 4 and level 5 will protect these other levels by providing proper security measures. Even we have a DMZ, demilitarized zone, it will have a shared access by this level 4 and level 3 as well. But so it will provide us a clear cut differentiation between other lower levels. On the other hand, it will give a separate protection zone. Demilitarized zone is also called as protection zone for accessing these lower levels. On the other hand, for the top levels also. On the other hand, it will protect the lower levels, you can say in more general. So we may involve, so for to protect this one, so our demilitarized zone may be kept with the firewalls, proxy servers, or IPSS, protection from intruders. So all those. So only authorized connections from trusted sources or from trusted sites can enter into this. But however, with respect to different DMZ and enterprise zones, but still coming to the individual level, we may have some security vulnerabilities, or but still we can address all those individually by having sophisticated devices under this devices and controls under safety zone and process zone, level 0 and level in a safety level. So this is how the different levels are categorized or divided. So any clarification on this? Please get back. Moving further, we have some of the characteristics it involves or impact our security. So when we concern with, while we concern with IT and OT networks, they still maintain many divergent characteristics in terms of how they operate and how the traffic can be handled. So the differences influence how those are treated, and so the treatment in the sense coming to security is concerned with security strategy. Different security strategies should be adopted for IT as well as for OT subsequently. Coming to the IT, in an IT environment, there are many diverse data flows. The communication data flows that emanate from a typical IT endpoint travel relatively far. So when IT is concerned with the communication data flows, which is generated from lower levels, which may travel so long, because IT is concerned with internet, we may transfer on those different networks, wide area networks, metropolitan area networks, all those come into picture. So now from different switches, different routers, the data has to be transferred, data has to be received as a communication. So with respect to IT is concerned with, we may need some remote servers, those can manage with those filtering. We may need with the firewalls, we may need with the proxy servers as well. On the other hand, data can be transmitted in the form of email or file transfers or print from or to and from the central data center or from the cloud, right? So these are the different services provided by IT network. So when we say the security is concerned with a proper browser with the security enabled browser with the firewall setup and router security level setup, all those should be easily or clearly should be managed. So these are the characteristics we're supposed to address. So these are the things will affect need to give a proper hand to have a security level in this particular IT network. Coming to the OT networks, operation technology networks, say consider from level 0 to level 3, two types of operation traffic are there. One is local traffic and second type is monitoring. So with respect to local traffic, which is contained within a specific package or area to provide local monitoring and closed loop control. That is local traffic within the particular network, within the private area network. So if you consider private area network, that is 6LoWPAN, low powered wireless private area network. So this is what we intended to do in that particular local traffic. Second type is it is used for monitoring and control of areas or zones or the overall system. So how it is addressed? How it is addressed? So in this case, traffic is used for a real time or almost near real time processes and does not need to leave the process control level. That is first part. The major task is to have a clear cut idea in such a way that say while collecting the data from the sensors, along with the collection of data supposed to maintain with the timings, there is real time data for each and every period of period supposed to collect the data. So that is how that particular traffic, so how we can address, provide the security on that particular level, that is lowermost level as for local traffic. Second part is nothing but we can traffic monitoring. So this second traffic can address via SCADA as a good example. So with respect to SCADA, we can have a remote device to function as a shared at a system level so that operators can understand easily how that individual overall system or parts of it are operating. So by concentrating more on individual sensors, individual actuators in this. When we say IT networks, on the other hand, this may involve sometimes short mails, longer emails. For example, we may transfer the data via MP3 files, movie files, right? So proper filtering, proper firewall management should be available in this particular case. And with respect to OT is concerned, we may adopt SCADA, master slave scenario, or publisher subscriber scenario also we may incorporate in the under this. So in general, if you say IT networks, coming to the IT sector or software sector, it is more mature in the sense you clearly upgrading the systems, updating with each and every smallest tasks. For example, antivirus update, if you're concerned. So antivirus update for every week or for every month, right? So that is how this particular thing works. Coming to the industrial part, upgrading the individual machineries, upgrading individual endpoints based on the usage. So these are all comes under that. Coming to the security priority, if is concerned with, so when we say OT, operational technology or IT even, so in general, we must address these three factors, that is integrity, availability and confidentiality. So these should be the major priority while we address security. So it is in general, however, the flow or priority maybe starts from integrity, then availability, then confidentiality, or maybe the other side. But in general, all these three should be clearly addressed when addressing IT concerns. So with respect to an IT industry, it is general, the security priorities driven by the nature of the assets in each environment, based on the environment, based on the organization, based on the processing environment. So when you say environment, it may be manufacturing unit, it may be maintenance unit, it may be production house. So all based on these three things may vary. In coming to the IT, so the most critical element and the target of attacks has been information, the data. Whatever the data we are communicating, so that data itself is a target. So whatever the data you will send through mail, whatever the data you share through print media, that itself is a target for security. So that is a major part supposed to address. Coming to OT, operations technology, the major asset is the participants or nothing but workers and equipment. Security for individual workers, security for equipment, right? So this is how OT is concerned with to address different security measures. So when we concern with the security for workers and equipment, we are supposed to address along with that integrity, availability and confidentiality. So whatever the service we may provide along with along with the security is concerned for workers. So in such a way that workers should be available in time. They're supposed to maintain a proper integrity and confidence. They're supposed to maintain confidentiality also, right? So now coming to this particular workers and equipment, it is nothing but a privacy also. Privacy more focusing on confidentiality, because one company's data cannot be gone out, so that the opponent or opponent company may capture those data and they may build some other based on that. Or on the other hand, losing a particular device in this equipment during mishandling, a particular major equipment or handling of those individual component of a machinery, that is again coming to picture when we address the security. So if the particular device, the particular component is rarely available in the market, so then we are in the trouble with respect to our production. Sometimes production may stop, company may gone into loss, right? So this is how we supposed to address. Along with that, when we consider, so with respect to IT business, there are legal, regulatory, and commercial obligations to protect data, especially data of individuals. So we may go with patents as well, who may or may not be employed by the organization. So whoever the data is received, the particular person is not belong to the organization, then there is a chance of breach of trust, you can say. Coming to OT, operational space, the safety and continuity of the process and process participants is considered the most critical concern. So these are the things are supposed to clearly address in proper manner. So to have these things, we're supposed to concentrate more on security focus. So security is concerned with all these: integrity, availability, and confidentiality must be clearly addressed. To have this, we have two different models. That is, we supposed to implement risk analysis structures, Octave and FAIR. So these two, Octave and FAIR, are the major risk analysis structures with respect to industrial environment. So any clarification on this previous things? Get back. Okay, continuing further. In this Octave and FAIR, so these two are the different setups as a risk analysis structure. We may go through with these two. So the key for any industrial environment is that it needs to address security holistically and not just focus on technology. So one of the major part. So when we say industrial environment, supposed to address in all the each and individual part of the industry. It doesn't mean that just focus on technical field, doesn't focus on machinery part. So all those focus should be given for all individual parts of the entire organization, not only for softwares or even for hardwares as well. Upgradation with the hardware, not only with the software, along with the software upgradation, there should be an upgradation with respect to hardware also. Then only we can easily or clearly manage our industrial environment can be managed. So when we say those advancement, that is upgradation, must include people and processes, and it should include all the vendor ecosystem components that make up a control system. So include people and processes, include all the customers, employees also in the upgradation, must be informed with all those, and include all the vendor ecosystem. Whoever the vendors from where we are purchasing raw materials, everyone should be informed in such a way that a new upgraded machinery has been installed and whatever the service can be provided with the different vendors can be supported. So on the other hand, everyone should know the environment, what's going on in that industry, so that there will be no misinterpretations. So to do with this, we supposed to follow some structures, some setup. So that is addressed by Octave and FAIR. So Octave, on the other hand, it is a standard for industrial verticals. It may consist of number of parts for risk assessments, foundational requirements used to secure industrial environment from a networking and communication perspective. So we say this Octave, operational critical threat asset and vulnerability evaluation, is one of the tool or analysis structure from the Software Engineering Institute at Carnegie Mellon University. So one of the structure. Second one is FAIR, factor analysis of information risk, from the open group. So these two, the two systems work toward establishing a more secure environment, but with two different approaches and sets of priorities. Knowledge of the environment is key to determining security risk and plays a key role in the driving priorities. So via using these two, by using these two structures, so we can have this risk analysis, risk assessment can be done. So how to do that? So either we supposed to follow some of the other, for example, National Institute of Standard and Technology, NIST, will provide a series of documents for critical infrastructures, or by the cyber security framework also we can have, or from different institutions. There may be different assessment framework based on institution, but in general, almost most of the organizations make use of this Octave or FAIR, that is operationally critical threat asset and vulnerability evaluation, or factor analysis. So these are the two systems which will work toward establishing more secure environment, but both have different approaches. We'll see that in detail. So this Octave, please look after the diagram. Operationally critical threat asset and vulnerability evaluation. In this case, Octave, it has undergone multiple iterations, divisions. This particular diagram shows you Octave Allegro steps and different phases. This is one of the structure or scenario going to deploy, coming with the risk analysis part. So based on the level, it has been divided. So it is a lightweight process. So it assumes that a robust security team is not on standby or immediately to initiate with the security review. So here the approach is given with by considering different factors. So the different approaches are categorized based on the different phases. The phases are establishing drivers, profile assets, identify threats, identify and mitigate risk. At the end, we'll come up with the risk analysis. So now in this, we may divide this entire phase into 8 steps. The first step, that is establish risk measurement criteria, comes under establishing drivers. In this case, it will provide, the Octave will provide us with the very simple phase which impacts, we're supposed to trace out the factors which will impact the driver in the sense the boost or backbone of entire organization, who is the major part of this. So over here, supposed to measure the risk with respect to impact or value, or even sometimes measuring on a previous stages. Say when we say the establishing risk measurement criteria, supposed to trace out, supposed to divide what are the factors to be addressed when something happens. If you consider, for an example, last year's ransomware attack, right? Either there are only two chances. So one is you supposed to upgrade your system with the new operating system, or you're supposed to give a ransom for them, or on the other hand, you're supposed to develop a proper antivirus so that nobody else can get into your machinery. So now, when you compare that particular scenario into this step one, establish risk measurement criteria. So what will happen if the ransomware enters into your machine? What are the risks involved? What are the different layers of risk involved in your organization? So that is how the step one categorizes, establishing drivers for different layers, different perspective, different areas. That is what step one will do. Moving to second phase, that is profile assets. Second step, supposed to develop information asset profile and identify information asset containers. So in this second step is to develop an information profile, information asset profiles, saying that each individual, in this second step, each individual devices, where it is used, what are the risks, what are the drawbacks, what are the advantages, the listing of all those. So asset profiling is nothing but listing out advantages, disadvantages, its uh, specifications, upper limit and lower limit. For example, if you consider as an example, say temperature sensor is concerned with, temperature sensor is an asset. So how to develop an information profile on that? Temperature sensor, manufacturer's name, model number, what are its reading, the maximum level and minimum level, until which temperature it may read the data, and or how much temperature it may absorb, how much temperature it may face, fire related information. If that particular temperature sensor prone to fire, then what will be the reading, how to manage. So these are comes under asset profiling. So in step two is supposed to develop information related with each individual assets. So when we say assets, it's nothing but individual sensor, actuators, our smart objects or processing units, network, everything coming to picture. And in step three, supposed to identify information asset containers. So where this particular information can be saved. So this may involve even with respect to custodians also, or people, those who involved in different levels. So that is how we addressed. And coming to the container part, where that exactly custodians or human actors will have different interaction with the machineries. That is where supposed to address, list out. Over here, container in the sense roughly we can say the one who uh, transports the machinery from one area to another area, or the locations where that entire data has been stored. For example, computer elements or networks. Element in the sense where exactly you will keep your CPU, where exactly we may keep your router, where exactly you may keep your modem, Wi-Fi modem, that location. That is what this asset container is supposed to address, that also. So supposed to make a information related with that. Coming to in this octave part, in general, we can say the major concentration is given for this particular second profile assets, because there is a major part in entire thing, entire organization. So if you know all this clear cut picture individually, that is bit by bit, module wise, then it is very easy to address. How to address that? Because we already divided each individual part as a separate atomic level division has been made already to collect to make a asset profile. So based on that, it is easier to address. Moving to step 4. So step 4, identify areas of concern. As we know already, we deployed phase or individual module wise categories. We developed information assets as well. So in this case, we are concentrating more on business focused use cases. So we're supposed to look after different risk profiles and previously mentioned risk analysis. If something happened in the previous day or previous years, supposed to look after all those and supposed to make sure that won't repeat again, so that we suppose identify areas of concern. For example, last year, if something is happened due to flood, then what are the measures has to be taken to avoid the flood? That is, those things comes under this identifying areas of concern. Coming to the fifth step, identify threat scenarios. Threats are concerned with, say, it is maybe potential undesirable events. It may result from either both accidental or man-made. Accidental by failure, by brake failure, by something is failed, proper without proper handling of power supply, improper management with the service, there is no periodical service. Those are all comes under that. So suppose identify threat scenarios. So nothing but suppose identify the actors, one who involved in this, or the one who motivates into that. So what will be the result by getting undesired output? So those are the parts supposed to address in fifth step. Coming to sixth step, it is identifying the risk. So within Octave, entire this setup, the risks are nothing but possibility. There is a possibility of getting unwanted result, unwanted outcome. So to trace out in which layer, which part made that particular unwanted outcome. So that is the task over here, identifying the risk. Because it is easier now, because we already developed individual information about each individual assets. So that by comparing with that, can easily list out, identify the risk in step 6. Coming to step 7, can analyze, need to analyze the risk by this. What will be the result if this happen tomorrow? Need to analyze that particular risk. Then as a last step, mitigation should be applied. So here, based on the outputs, one may need to accept the risk and continue, or we may accept the risk and then we apply any control mechanism, or we may prohibit. So these are these 3 scenarios we can apply over here. Either we can accept the product in whatever may be the condition. Second part, accept the product and upgrade accordingly. Third one, we can prevention. As we know, prevention is better than cure. So that is one of the best tasks we may adopt over here. So it is something like it is a balanced information focus over here. So everything is clearly bifurcated, everything is clearly monitored as it is a stepwise setup, so that easily we can have analyzed the risk via using Octave. And any other from third party enabled mitigation approach also we can employ in this. So that is Octave for you. So any doubt or any clarification so far?